Welcome to my Views and News Friday's first video. Firstly, a new story about an ENDF Lieutenant Colonel who has been killed reportedly in the ongoing fighting. His family has confirmed his death. No statement from Ethiopian National Defense Force, no official word, but his family is confirming his death. Second news story is about the involvement of regional forces in this third round of fighting. We know that in a second round of fighting last year, regional forces were heavily involved from Oromia, from Somali region, from BG, from Gambella. All participated in the fight against TPLF, Tigray forces. And in this third round of fighting, we have not seen so far involvement of regional forces other than Amhara regional forces, which are involved from day one. Now, another region has reportedly sent more than 200 special force members. Where will they be deployed, and could it mean that there's going to be more deployment of regional forces in the ongoing war in coming days? And lastly, viewers, while Ethiopian finance minister, governor of National Bank are negotiating, holding meetings with IMF and World Bank in Washington, D.C., annual meetings are underway. Tigrayans are protesting outside the venue where these meetings are being held. Firstly, a Lieutenant Colonel of Ethiopian National Defense Force has been killed reportedly. One of the top casualties confirmed so far on the side of Ethiopian National Defense Force. No official announcement, but his cousin broke this news on a social media platform. Name of this colonel who has been killed in the ongoing fighting is Atahir Muhammad. Atahir Muhammad. Rank Lieutenant Colonel, ENDF Lieutenant Colonel. On which front was he killed? It's not clear. Reportedly, he was killed around 2 weeks ago. But the news was kept as a secret. Why? Because Sadiq ibn al-Amin is cousin of Atahir Muhammad. Sadiq broke this news. Sadiq says that Tahir's wife was busy with 12th grade exams held 2 days ago. That is why this news was kept hidden as a secret, and now the news is being shared with the family of Tahir Muhammad. So a family member, a relative, a cousin is confirming the death of a Lieutenant Colonel of Ethiopian National Defense Force. No official word, again I'm saying, which is not expected. Another Ethiopian National Defense Force officer was killed a few days ago. I shared pictures of his funeral gathering, but ENDF remained silent. It means that people are dying on both sides. The top men are dying. Top commanders are dying, but no acknowledgements from all the sides, from three sides you can say. Eritrean military, ENDF, Tigray forces, all are losing their commanders, their fighters, but they always share about casualties of the other side. They don't speak about how many have they lost. Since there is deployment of millions, not millions, tens of thousands of soldiers in this war, so we can safely assume that casualties would be staggering in terms of numbers, I think. Secondly, second news story is about involvement of regional forces in this third round of fighting. So far, only regional forces from the Amhara region are involved. Militias, Fano militia from Amhara region, especially East Amhara Fano, are fully involved in the third round of fighting. But we did not see that regional forces were involved, although there were reports, unconfirmed reports, that soldiers from the Somali region or Oromia region were being deployed to front lines, but we could not confirm. And in contrast, last year we saw that when Tigray forces were in Amhara Afar regions, there was involvement of all regional forces in the war. All regional forces were deployed to fight Tigray fighters last year. This year, so far, only federal forces, Republican Guards, ENDF, Federal Police as well, and Amhara Regional Force, Amhara Special Force, militia members, Eritrean Defense Force, but no other regional forces. Now, pictures are being shared from Gambella. That Gambella region has sent more than 200 special force members. Their local government officials are confirming the departure of more than 200 special force members, that these special force members will participate in the war against Tigray People Liberation Front. So it is being confirmed by Gambella regional government officials reportedly. If Gambella region deploys troops to fight against Tigray forces, it means that in coming days we could see deployment of other regions' forces too, especially Somali region and Oromia. By the way, Afar regional forces are also involved from day one, because from Afar side, Afar forces and Eritreans, they have been trying to enter Tigray to reach Agula, but they could not. It means that in coming days we could see deployment of other regions' forces too. It could be a little difficult for Oromia to deploy a large number of its troops, its soldiers, its special force members to the war in the north, because Oromia forces are fighting Oromo Liberation Army. And same is the case with Somali region, which is fighting Al-Shabaab on Somalia-Ethiopia border. Somali Special Force is conducting operations in Somalia as well. It is conducting operations. It would be a little difficult for Somali region and Oromia to deploy large number of troops to do this war in northern Ethiopia. But this Gambella region's special force deployment indicates that such deployment could happen, though it could be symbolic, to make regions take the responsibility of this war. Maybe that is why symbolically a few hundred troops from all regions will be deployed, so that all regions should own this war. This is war against TPLF, which should be fought jointly by all regions. Lastly, viewers, Ethiopian Finance Minister Ahmed Shide and National Bank Governor are in Washington, D.C. They are in talks with IMF and World Bank officials. Annual meetings are underway. Tigrayans gathered outside the venue of these meetings. They protested, they tried to storm the venue. We are seeing reports that IMF and World Bank could approve new loans and grants for Ethiopian government. In fact, World Bank 2 days ago said that it would keep on supporting Ethiopia and other countries where conflicts are ongoing. And reportedly, IMF is also in talks, and IMF could approve some financial assistance, some loans, grants for Ethiopian government. That is why Tigrayans are stepping up their demonstrations in Washington, D.C. We have a clip for you showing Tigrayans gathered outside the venue where Ahmed Shide and other Ethiopian government officials are in talks with IMF and World Bank. And there Tigrayans chanted slogans against IMF, not against IMF, But they said that the money was being used by Ethiopian government to fund the war. Money taken by IMF and World Bank is being used to fuel the war in North. That is what is being claimed by these Tigrayans. Watch the clip from Washington, D.C. Thank you for watching.
Ethiopia has been committing war crimes, has been violating humanity. There is an active genocide in Tigray of Ethiopia. We are Tigrayans. We are victims of this ongoing genocide. As we stand here, we are asking the international community, delegates, anybody willing to listen, willing to make a difference, help us end this genocidal war upon our people. We're asking you to say no to financing the genocidal region of Ethiopia.
Funding for Ethiopia! Hashtag Tigray genocide! Hashtag Tigray genocide! Hashtag Tigray genocide! Hashtag Tigray genocide! Hashtag justice of people of Tigray! Hashtag Tigray genocide! Hashtag Tigray genocide! Hashtag Tigray genocide! Hashtag free Tigray! 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 Hashtag Tigray genocide! Hashtag Tigray genocide!